What I'd like to talk about today is parallel and relative, the meanings of those words in a practical sense, and then the word composite or composite harmony. So let's start from there. We're in the key of C. Let's start with the word relative. In the key of C, major, the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. The one chord would be C major, right? In the relative scale to C major, the root would be A. The notes would be the same, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, but the tonal center would be an A. That scale, the natural minor scale or the Aeolian mode, would be relative to the key of C major. So C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, tonal center would be C. And the scale would be tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If we use exactly the same notes, but start on A as our tonal center, same notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, but now we're in a minor key, and these keys are not the same. The tonal centers are different. The melodic DNA is the same notes, but a different tonal center. So it's really about the distance between the notes that create the scale's quality, in this case, either major or minor. Okay, so that's called relative. Same notes, different tonal center. Parallel, on the other hand, is the same tonal center with different notes. And in this case, we're going to look at C major scale and the C natural minor scale. These scales we call parallel. So C major and C is the one chord. C natural minor. And C minor is the one chord. They're much more closely related because they share the same tonal center. Now, some of you may have been taught or assume that key means a major key or a minor key, but it's not quite that simple. Key is really a single tonal center. Tonal center in this case that we're talking about is the tonal center of C. And so because this major scale and this minor scale both share the same tonal center, they share the same key. This is not a major key or a minor key. It is a composite key sharing the same tonal center. Now, if we take a look at the implications of that from the perspective of the harmony in the key of C major, let's just take a 2-5-1 progression. The one chord in C major would be C major. The 2 would be D minor. I'm using 7th chords in this case, 4-note chords. And the 5 would be G7, and the 1 would be, again, C. If I look at the parallel natural minor scale or the Aeolian mode, we have the same tonal center. The one chord is now C minor. The 2 chord is D minor 7 flat 5. Right, because those are the notes in the scale of C minor. And then the 5 chord is G minor. And then we return to C minor. Okay, so that 5 chord is a very passive resolution back to its one chord. meaning this G minor, I can play it as a 3-note chord, and then back to its 1 chord. So very commonly, this G minor is changed to a G7 to give us a stronger resolution to the 1. D minor 7 flat 5, the 2 chord from a minor key, G7 back to the 1. In this case, I used a 1 major, right? Minor 7 flat 5, G7 with that raised B, and then resolve to the minor. You see how, and can you hear how closely related these keys are? Major, and so that's beginning to think in a composite key. In other words, we're not just thinking of one scale, like a major scale, and the chords that are derived from that major scale. But instead, what we're thinking is 2 scales in composite, beginning from the same tonal center of C in this case. And now we end up with a composite key that where the chords are from the major key, from the major scale. They're C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G7, A minor, and B minor 7 flat 5. And from the C minor key, we have, or from the C minor scale, I should say, we have the 1 chord of C minor, 2 chord of D minor 7 flat 5, because we have a flat 3. Now we have a flat 3 major chord of E flat major 7, 4th degree F minor 7 chord, 5th degree G minor 7. We altered it to become a G7 in order to resolve more clearly to a 1. Then we have a flat 6 chord, A flat major 7. And then a 6 chord A minor 7, from the major key, or let's just look at the minor key. And then we have a flat 7 chord of B flat 7. If you put all of those chords together, you end up with a composite key. That composite key would have the chords of C major 7, D minor 7, or D minor 7 flat 5, the flat 3 of E flat, E minor 7, F major 7, or an F minor 7, G7 or G minor 7, a flat 6 of A flat, of a major 6 of A minor, and like the major 6 interval, sorry if that sounds confusing. We have a 6 chord of A minor 7 and a flat 7 chord of B flat 7, and then a 7 chord of B minor 7 flat 5. This becomes a composite key. And you had a little bit of a taste of that composite key when I played the D minor 7 flat 5, going to G7, and then resolving maybe to minor. How about using some of these others? How about the A flat major 7? Or how about the B flat 7? Or how about the E flat? And you could go on and on and on. And now all of a sudden you have a lot of harmonic possibilities here. And you've really stretched this whole idea of key from being just the harmonic expression of the chords in one scale to now being the chords in two different scales that share the same tonal center. So try that out. Play with that a little bit. In your analysis of tunes, I just did Night and Day and with a play-along track, and you might want to check that out. But in Night and Day, we start with the 2 chord from a minor key to the 5 chord, and then to a major key, and the same. And then in the middle section, we go to the key of E flat. There it is. Now all of a sudden, it's clearer where that came from. Then that moves to a C. So we're in the parallel minor. To the parallel major, right? Parallel minor to parallel major. Parallel minor to the parallel major, right? So the same thing repeats itself over and over again. You will find this kind of thing in hundreds of different standards. And if you begin to look at harmony from a more expanded viewpoint like this, a lot will begin to make much more sense to you. How can you begin to practice this? I would suggest just thinking in one key, in this case, the key of C, and really work those different harmonic permutations, across the fretboard. And linearly, I would take a C major scale. Right. And then take its parallel. Its parallel minor, and do that everywhere on the fretboard. Major and minor, a happy marriage. I hope that was helpful to you. That's just an introduction to this concept. I mean, this goes a long way. I know that in my own study many years ago with my harmony teacher, we would take one chord at a time in a lesson, and we would look at that one chord, like the 2 minor 7 flat 5, and we'd listen to that. And then we would compare it. Like, for instance, the 2 minor 7 flat 5 is very closely related to the F minor, right? So you have... Listen. Right? And you would just expand on that and study that one chord and how it functions and where it goes and where it resolves and so on. So this study can go into much greater depth than what I'm going into here. But as I said, this is an introduction to the concept. If you want to take it further, I invite you to do that. Think of key as a single note as opposed to a bunch of chords that have been derived from a single scale. If this video was helpful to you, like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm immensely. Buy me a coffee. Buy one of my books, which you can get on Amazon. And please leave a question. I get back to all the questions with fairly lengthy answers. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you real soon.